How about this for that? Hey folks, Nick Culbertson here, and this is an interview for Society of Play. Summer, one of the organizers, sent me a list of questions. So first, a little bit about me, a little bit about Society of Play for people who don't know what that is. I'm a member of a local game collective. I don't know what you would call it. A group of people who are like friends, and we are friends. So maybe it's a friendship. It's a friendship club. What's the name of friendship clubs? A party of cool pool party people. A friend group of fruit. Soulmates. Life buddies. Brothers and sisters from another mothers. Your other mothers. When I first joined the group, it was just on Meetup. Game developers getting together, showing off projects, or there would be someone having a tutorial on how to get started with something like Unity. And now that we live in the digital age, we already lived in the digital age, but now that we live in the pandemic digital age, the group has grown and now they're putting on game jams and all these other things. The Discord is thriving, so it used to be just for people in Dallas, but now it's people all over the universe are joining. So, if you'd like to be a part of it, click the links down below, up above. I don't know where the links are. You can't click the video. Why are you gonna click a video? You fool! Okay, let's get started. I am Nick Culbertson. I make games, I make music, I do programming and art, and usually don't do them all at the same time, but I jump from one to one, and most recently I've been working on video games for the past several years. I've put out 3 games, commercial releases, and 2 game jam games in that time, while updating a bunch of music-related apps. I've released over 100 apps into the App Store. They're not all there currently, and sort of my approach has been always to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and yeah, that's about me. Before getting into game development and software development, I was a musician in Nashville. Not playing stuff like that, it was Nashville, so I was playing country. And even though I'm not performing live anymore, I'm still a musician, and I try to make music a component of everything I do. One of my friends at a coffee here in town, we were discussing sort of when I was getting into game development, that I was talking about how I wanted to make games, and he knew that I had a music background, and the idea was, while I might not be the best programmer or best musician, my superpower can be in combining those 2 skills. So, and that's sort of what I've done, is I've combined music and games ever since. Before that, it was combining music and apps, which is pretty much the same thing. You know, games are apps because the games I make are all on the App Store. So I don't know why you're making such a big deal about it. An app is a game. So that's a little about me, that's a little about Society of Play, and let's get started with the questions. Question number 1. Where do you live? Well, I live right here, literally, in Dallas, Texas. Before Dallas was in Nashville, but we moved to Dallas, and my wife and daughter and I live in this house where I live and work and sleep, and I just can't get out. I've tried, and then... Question number 2. What got you into making video games, and what are your favorite games? So first, what got me into development in the first place? My degree is in music business. I always thought I was going to be a musician, or at least die trying, but instead the dream died inside of me, and there's a hole there. But I filled that hole with sweets and also the goal of becoming a software developer. So, in between gigs in Nashville, a lot of the gigs were happening on the weekends and occasional stuff throughout the week. But it left me time to be either working at a job, slinging breadsticks at Olive Garden, okay? and also learning software development at the same time. So I would, and it started very slow. But fortunately, we live in an age where you can learn anything on the internet. And this was a point where app development wasn't huge. My wife had gotten me the first iPad that came out, and I thought, actually, I wanted to make a Nashville numbers app, which is the charting notation that is used in Nashville for all the session musicians. So I went to download a Nashville numbers app, and there wasn't one there, so I was like, hey, I should make this app. And slowly I learned from videos on YouTube, a lot of them little kids, teaching you how to do these very small things like add an image to the screen. And you just add all those to your toolbox until finally you can create apps. And that's what I did. I started out by making, I have hair in my mouth. Get out of my mouth, my gosh. I started out by making the music related apps, and at a certain point I wanted to get into making games, but they were very rudimentary. So it was things like Memory, those types of games. And then the first big game that I decided to make was after that coffee I'd mentioned, where I put together both my love of music and love of video games, and that's where Epic Orchestra came from. And it was a swipe-based rhythm game. I spent, I don't know how, close to a year probably making it, because I recorded the music, did all the programming, and I had my good friend Alex do the art for it, the little chunky pixels. I think that's where I started to fall in love with chunky pixels. Ooh, but the big hard question are, what are my favorite games? So instead of just saying like what my favorite games are, I am gonna say my favorite games, but I'm gonna put it into a list because everyone likes the list. So these are my top 3 favorite video game moments. Whoosh! Number 1. When I was a kid, I had a brother who was 4 years older than me. He's still 4 years older than me. Interesting fact. We would play video games, but since he was older than me, I was a scrub and he was the master. So I would watch him play video games, and still to this day I watch Let's Plays, so I guess that stuck with me. But I can remember watching him play The Legend of Zelda and Punch-Out!, all the original Nintendo games, and just being in awe of it. And one of the cool things about those pixel art games that I still love today, aside from this retro nostalgia, which I can't pluck out of my brain, is that the pixel art aesthetic has you using your imagination to fill in the blanks. And so Legend of Zelda is a story of Link, who's this little pixel character who has to save Zelda, but to me it seemed like it was this endless world that he lived in. It was open world, but it was a tiny world, but to me it was vast, and it extended my imagination into all sorts of things. And now whenever I make games, I'm not as inspired by the new things that are coming out so much as I am inspired about the things that were impactful to me when I was a kid. Oh yeah, we're talking about games. Number 2! While it's not my favorite game, Minecraft, I do remember whenever I was playing Minecraft for the first time, and I was just underground, digging, getting resources, and then the music started coming on. And I had headphones on, and it was as close to meditation as a game can possibly get. And I think I'll always have sort of a special place held for Minecraft, because that's another game that got me back into playing games after not doing it for like a decade. Number 3. Okay, this one's a lame answer. I don't like it. I don't like it, but it's true. It was Call of Duty. It was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It was another game where I had missed playing all the new console era games that had come out, and suddenly I had an Xbox 360, and I jumped in. I didn't even play any of the campaign. I just jumped into playing the multiplayer on Call of Duty, and I was just blown away by the immersion of it. Just the art looked so good, and I remember the first couple of matches I just kind of hid in a corner because it was like, I don't know, it felt like whenever movies first came out and they had the Great Train or whatever it was called. It was a black and white movie where the train was coming towards the camera, and people all freaked out because they thought the train was going to come into the actual theater. Well, that's what I thought. I thought the bullets were real. They weren't, fortunately. So those are my favorite gaming moments, but it'll change. Honorable mention. Actually, I'm gonna make this number 3, and the Call of Duty one, that's the honorable mention. Number 3 again. This has to be now currently playing the Sega Mini. I've been playing it with my daughter, and those games are awesome. First of all, remember how like Nintendo don't? Sega does what Nintendo don't? Well, we were wrong, folks. Sega was right. They did do what they didn't do on the Nintendo. The graphics are awesome. Sonic 2, man, I didn't even know there was a platformer that was that awesome back then. I wish I had known. But I play it with my daughter, and she gets to watch me just use save states to beat the game and cheat. But to her, she doesn't know I'm cheating. She's just a little type. But getting to experience those games again, it's like the first time because it's through a fresh set of eyes, has been awesome. So yeah, next question. What is your current project? What isn't my current project is a better question. That's not a better question. Your question's good. We'll do that one. So I just got done doing Octobit, which was a challenge in October of doing pixel art every day. And now I don't want to touch pixel art. After doing it every day for a month, I don't want to get rusty, like I want to keep doing it maybe once a week or something, but every day it just meant all my other work was like, it's just gone. So now I'm catching up on that. I spent the greater part of this year updating other apps, and I've also been working on music, but I'm kind of evading the question because I'm working on a secret unreleased project. But make sure to follow so you can see. It may or may not be another rhythm game. It may or may not be a game that's going to use the pixel art that I had, but you'll have to stay tuned to see. Nothing to share at this time. I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to take 5 on this one. What is your work history, and are there any interesting stories about it? Well, like I said, I was a Nashville musician, and of slinging them breadsticks. Y'all want some more breadsticks. They always want more breadsticks. They always want more sweet tea. They always want more breadsticks. They always want more salad. Come on, I got other tables. But once I got into app development, I've been doing this ever since. I've been doing it for over 10 years now. 10 years in this chair. There are so many farts in this chair. Oh man, you could put it in a museum. I apologize for the fart talk. We should just move on. What hardware / software / mediumware do you use? If you're making apps for iOS like I do, you have to use a Mac. There might be some workarounds, but it's the most comfortable workflow if you're using a Mac. That's what you have to use for the actual signing of the applications. So yeah, I bought into the Mac train years ago and I've been using it ever since. My speakers are Edifiers. My favorite guitar is a Telecaster. And most recently I've been making games in Unity, but I've used all sort of different stuff. For art, I use Photoshop. For music, I use GarageBand, but I really want to use Logic. I've been lazy into purchasing it really, and cheap, both. That'll do, pig, that'll do. What is your dream job or dream position? Well, the first one, that's easy. This is my dream position. And my dream job, I think this is my dream job. I mean, like, I would like to have people give a poop about the stuff I'm putting out. But at the same time, maybe if people gave more of a poop, I would give more of a poop. What poop they gave. So, poop. One piece of advice for someone that wants to get into the game development industry. Whew, I like this. This is one of my greatest hits. I think everyone should have some greatest hits in terms of like their pieces of advice. Just like if you were to go see Van Halen, you want to hear Jump. They gotta play Jump. I'm not there to see Why Can't This Be Love. I want to hear Jump. My one piece of advice is to make your games teeny tiny. Make them so small when you're starting out, and it's hard to do that, you know, because you're gonna want to do all the things. It's tempting to do all the things, but having a product that has all the things in it does not necessarily make it all the things. And Bob Ross has an interesting quote during one of his episodes I saw, and he said it took him 20 years to get to the point where he can paint a painting in 20 minutes. So in making your project small, you still need to have a lot of experience because part of it is if you're making it small, you tend to let go of some of your perfectionism and you have to cut corners on parts that might have taken more time. And in time, you learn to cut the proper corners. Actually, the perfectionist thing, I think that's a second piece of advice. So I'm gonna make it, it's like one, but there's two there. So don't be a perfectionist and keep your projects small. Micro, tiny projects. You know that prototype you're thinking of making and that you're gonna turn into a big game? Make the prototype the game, get the cash, put it in your pocket, and retire. That's good advice. Social media or links that you would like to share? Well, how about this for that? So that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Summer, thank you for inviting me to get to blabber on once again. Yeah, if you want to find out what I'm up to, check out the links. And again, I have been Nick Culbertson. You have been you. You keep being you. You keep doing you. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye.